Back for a little bit of afternoon chit chat, jump on, jump off, and everything like that. Appreciate the new subscriber, by the way. Got some good news for you. I wanted to update you on something first. I want to give you greetings on this St. Patrick's Day. Uh, I normally don't do this, but so many times I do a lot of yelling, screaming, and I do give some information, but I always overlook, and it's not intentional, but always overlook the order of the Eastern Star. And I wanted to say to you, sisters, today, worthy matrons, sisters across this great state of Ohio and abroad, I'm thankful for you. If you have seen the star, if you've identified the star, don't just look at it. Look to the east, keep moving, stick to them points, do what you got to do. Okay? Ruth, Martha, Electra. I'm not saying them in order, but Ruth, Martha, Electra, Deb, Esther. Hey, do what you got to do. To the brothers, I want to say to you, allow the blue to continue to force you to be true. Not only true, but faithful. I got an announcement. It's some good news. It really touched my heart. I didn't even know about it. I won't say the name because I didn't ask permission, but one of my grandchildren. Let me tell you, see, that's why I be trying to tell people they get caught up in antics. Uh, my grandchildren, they love me to death. I know they do. My youngest grandchild, bless his heart, has been doing the same thing as Papa been doing. YouTube. Once I get the permission from his mom, I hope to hear from her maybe later today, and maybe when he gets out of school, I can get that permission from him since he's a junior CEO. But he is a minor, and I'm mindful of that, and I don't want to embarrass him or bring shame to my daughter in regards to him. But he's following his Papa's footsteps, and I was going through his channel earlier, and I got some people to help me get him up. I need you to help me get him up to 50. He wants to do some lives, and he wants to be able to do that. And I told his mom this morning, I said, well, I can help him get there, not a problem. And when I first looked at his page, he has, now he had two. He has one, I think he has 3 subscribers. He had 20. At this point, uh, at this point, uh, at this point, I think he went from 20. I think he has 30 now. And I wanted to say this to him today. Keep your head up, Dookie. Keep your head up, and don't give up. People don't like to follow Pawpaws either. A lot of people criticize him too. Uh, but you got to keep pushing. And drop a couple comments in his channel to let him know, hey, hang in there, man. Hang in there. DERE. I told him. And I told him, I say, it's about 2, 3 hearts and some congratulatory bouquet of flowers to let him know, hey, man, you going to do this. Hmm? So, my little treasure grandbaby, my baby, my youngest grandchild. Again, you never know who's watching you. And my grandson has always idolized me. Uh, he and my other grandson, Buddy, since they came into this world. Uh, and regardless of what people say, Papa can do no wrong in their eyes. And I'm grateful. But I told you, the good book saying a child shall lead them. So, don't ever think that people aren't watching you. These kids are watching us. And I never knew that my grandson had a desire to be on social media. He celebrated his birthday, 6 years old, and he's been YouTubing and is His subscribers was at 20. Called in a couple favors. I think he's about 30 now. So by the time he gets out of school, the goal is to have him at 50 so he can go ahead and do what his pawpaw do and do his lives. So Dookie, big shout out to you, baby. Congratulations on, wanting to do what pawpaw do. And I'm grateful for you, baby. He just had a birthday last week. And he's a bright kid, half Dominican, half biracial, but he's a good kid, very hyperactive. But ain't nothing that them two boys, Buddy or Dookie, will ever say about their pawpaw, and I'm glad about that. So he's at, once I hear from his mom today, I'll give you his channel name. He's a child, so don't go in there talking crazy to my grandson. I want you to help him get to 50. I'm trying to get to 300 by April 1st, and I want him to be at 50 by this weekend. And he went from 20 to 30 in a few short minutes. I caught a couple favors in. As I tell people all the time, I got 2 or 3 channels. I only use this one for the public, but I got 3 other channels that I use for other situations. This positive, of course, but so we have a total of 4 YouTube channels. We have a TikTok, we have an Instagram. I don't have access to the Instagram anymore. That was attached to my church. I don't know who operates that page. I don't even get notifications on that page no more, but we have all kinds of social media outlets. I just don't talk about them because that's not the purpose of what I come on live for. But my grandson, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. Congratulations on your new subscribers. And I hope that you don't give up. You keep at it, man. And Pawpaw started with 6. You know what I mean? And he gets frustrated real quick. And I was going through his little page, and he talking about he don't want to come back in, he give up, ain't nobody found like him. And one of his little friends, who I think is actually a subscriber to my channel or something, I don't know. I recognize the name when my daughter was telling me about it. But one of his little buddies on there told him, said, don't give up, man. Use one of your friends to help you get there. You see what I'm talking about? We were talking about strong and weak this morning, and I didn't know about the channel of my grandson. He's 6 years old. I wanted my oldest grandson to be a preacher. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. I hope it does one day. I mean, I can give him the information that I use, but I was called at a very young age. I just kind of gave up on it, but had other avenues and things that I needed to do. But my grandchildren, man, that just touched me, really brought tears in my eyes. But this is a joyous occasion today to know that, and I've been telling you this for 4 years, everything I'm doing is not in vain. You know, I got a grandson, man, that's 6 years old, is out here trying to fight the world to find his space. And he's 6. And I'm thankful for that. That just touched me. That when you think certain things, and I always tell people, you have to be mindful what comes out of your mouth. We don't know who's watching. You could be a kid, could be an adult, man, woman, boy, girl. You can be emotional, you can be mad, but you still got to be positive because those are emotions. Those are not character flaws. Those are emotions. And that's the difference. And I want to say to those 2 grandsons of mine out there, Buddy and Dookie, that, hey, man, and my oldest grandson, no shade to his daddy, but he's a split image of me. Since he was born. Buddy, I had a picture I gave to my daughter when she turned 17. It was a picture of me. I was 7 years old. I had on a brown outfit. I had a brown tie, a brown 2-piece vest. In the 70s, you'd be clean when you're taking pictures. You get older, they don't give a damn. They put you in oversized clothes and have all these fake backgrounds. But I was 7 years old, in elementary, sitting there, my arms folded, had my head tilted, man. It was clean as a whistle. And when my grandson turned 5 years old, I told my daughter, I said, you know what, that boy dead on me. And neither one of them boys ever left my side. Never none of them. No shade to my granddaughter. She's split image of my daughter, and she's off the chain. And but I'm hoping that Lord to give her some purpose in what it is that she's attempting to try to do in her little life. They're teenagers now, and I'm grateful for them. They when they came into this world, they lived in my home from the time of birth uh, until I relocated and went to Cincinnati. And I've always had my grandchildren close to me. And whether they see me in person, my DNA is connected to them. And you can never take your frustration out on the child because guess what? Children really lead the world. We just don't give them no credit. And I just want to give that report today. That just lets me know that every time I come on this live, no matter what I'm saying, I don't know who my viewers are, but I'm thankful for those that do take the time out to view. And that touched me today. It touched me beyond measure. Little grandson, I never even knew he was interested in that. He off the chain, but I never knew that he was interested in, doing some. He's a lover of music, dynamic kid, and I'm grateful for that. Man, that just touched me. It did. It just made my day for me. And I don't know what I would do. I have a picture on my wall I'm looking at now. And it says, be fearless. Remember I told you night before, good Lord, don't give a spirit of fear. Sometimes fear is forced. It's not that people walk around there are scary, but some people are just, they don't have the boldness or they don't have anybody pushing behind them. But, in the words of the Holy Writ, even King David said, I ain't gonna get depressed. I'm gonna encourage myself. And sometimes you gotta, do what Miss B did. Miss B penned a piece of paper, with the ink of sincerity, and she said to the people, me, myself, and I. And sometimes you gotta do the me, myself, and I so that you can get by and you don't have to cry. And that is a piece of song from Angela Winbush. You don't have to cry. And Renee. Come on, I'm a music man, DJ, talking man, that's what I do. I did it for a living. You know what I mean? I've always dealt with the public. I've always been a vocal person. I've always been a person that's rubbing elbows, social butterfly, don't know no strangers. However, I need to get back to you. I gave you a little praise report. I gave you the greetings for St. Patrick's Day. I also want to give a shout out, not to digress, but I want to give a shout out. I don't want to seem biased, but there is a lodge, the second oldest lodge, sovereign lodge, the Grand Lodge of Ireland. I'm sure they're celebrating the day in their grand and their, praise, St. Patrick's praise and things of that nature. And we want to give greetings to you today, give deference to you, because we all represent blue. And again, no oversight to the sisters. Again, worthy matrons, and sisters across this great state. I want to say to you, if you have identified the star, keep your eyes to the east. And don't just look to the east. Follow the star and worship him. Do that. Work on them 5 points. Whether you're a conductor, whether you're a worthy matron, whether you're an associate matron, whether you are whatever you are, I need you to hold on. If you're hanging on a string, if you got a broken wing, take the choice and use your voice. Help a young sister out today. Help a young brother today. Help someone that's hungry. Help someone that's less fortunate than yourself. I'm not going to get into all the deep history of the St. Patrick's piece. But, I ain't got no green on, but, I keep some stuff close to me. You got green. I got green on my lighter, green on my vape, I got some green around me, so if somebody won't run up in here and try to pinch me, it ain't going to work. And everything like that. So it took me a while to come back. I had to do my head, and I flew around and forgot to take my jewelry off, and I had to scrub my hands because I got the magic shave all in my head, in my hands. I went to rub my eye was watering, my phone was ringing. My buddy called me to tell me he was going to pick up his car, and I was trying to talk to him, and I'm trying to rinse and put the hot rag on my head and steaming, shining, all this and that. And he said, "Hey, D, man, I forgot, man. I got to get off this phone, man. I got some stuff I got to do." Anybody know me? I love to talk. You get me on the phone, you ain't gonna have no hit and miss with me unless you just hang up. I'm gonna be on the phone with you at least an hour, 2 hours. We're gonna talk, and we're gonna have something to talk about. We're gonna laugh, and have some fun and cut up. But I appreciate you all that came on this morning. I wanted to give you that information. I'm gonna come back later on, but I wanted to give you that. It touched me about my grandson. I didn't know that he was even interested in that. Sometimes you be so focused on what you're doing, you be out of touch with reality. And the reality is, I got 2 young men, man, that's ambitious and want to do some things. And that grandbaby of mine, I just never knew that he loved his pawpaw that much. I didn't know it. And I knew it, but I didn't know it. Sometimes kids don't really know how to articulate or verbalize, especially if they've been through some trauma or whatever, or their parents have been through some trauma. They don't know how to talk. And that little 6-year-old boy, when his mom called me and told me and shared his channel with me, I looked at his channel, I just, almost went to tears. It just really touched me. I would always desire my grandsons to follow my footsteps. That's my DNA. You know what I mean? If I had really thought, I really would have wished I would have. I told my buddy this morning, I said, I got 4 girls, man. I wish God would have gave me a son or left my son here. But he took him early, and he took him for a reason, because he didn't want my son to go through what a lot of these young men and women are going through today. And my son will be 28 if he was living come August. Him and my baby girl would have been right about close to the same age, a couple years maybe apart. But I was thinking about not looking through my brain cells and having flashbacks and thinking, man, like, everything, experience to teach you to get through the journey. But sometimes, monkey wrenches come and distractions come. And, with those experiences, we learn discipline. And I didn't wear anything green today, but I did wear a T-shirt I wanted you to read. When I first started this journey on this part of the equation, I had a whole bunch of T-shirts, and every time I would go on live, I had a T-shirt that would represent what I was talking about. Don't give up. This one here says, a lie doesn't become truth just because, I don't know. But, there's always a message in what I'm trying to convey. And I'm all about truth and transparency. The problem is I'm a little overly blunt, a little too outspoken at times, but I'd rather be too outspoken for standing up for the truth than to be taken down for telling a lie. Time has shown you through this 10-year journey of this channel that everything that's been said on this channel never been alleged. I don't think I've taken one piece of content or commentary, whatever the verbiage is for that, down based on what other people think. I stand on my truth. I walk in it. I believe in it. And it's people like Charleston White, people like, there's a couple other brothers out there, Godfrey, there's another guy out there that really has a good message that people kind of look side-eyed at, but it's truth. You know what I mean? We're really supposed to go to church for truth, but when you go there and you get lies. You know what I mean? You go to school to get truth and you get shot up. You know what I mean? So there's so many different things, but you don't let that deflect and cause you to digress from the assignment. And I'm yet on assignment. I don't always understand. I just tell my grandma all the time, when I was a kid, and even my birth mother, I remember when I was about 5 years old, I can remember it as clear as day. I was laying in the bed. I used to always dream about birds. I had nightmares about birds, ravens, eagles, and crows. These 3 birds. Not ever knowing that one day I would be in the Masonic order. Not ever knowing that I would obtain the success, in my definition of success, in the different certificates and degree work and lectures and different things that I've done and to give homage to the order down through the years. I never thought that those nightmares would transfer to dreams, would then come to a reality. You know what I mean? And I used to call my mother. I'd be crying, and she'd come in. I'd be hiding in the closet. And she'd say, "Boy, what's wrong with you?" I said, I just keep seeing these birds. And I never got a definition of what that was, or what those birds meant as a child. I never understood it. I would hear little voices in my head, and it would be telling me stuff. And I would always, literally, I would think I was crazy. But it was God talking to me. He was calling me in. And then I had a man I talk about all the time, Carl Vernon Kennelly, Springfield, Ohio, pastor 709 East Grand Avenue, Springfield, Ohio, Church of God. He set me down one day. I think I was about 7. This brings tears to my eyes, but I'm going to get through this one. I was about 7 years old, and Brother Kennelly said to me, he said, Dion, he would look at me. I was talking to him. He said, "You ever heard the story about Hannah and Samuel? You know, when Samuel was getting called, he would go to his mom, and he went to the last time, and his mom told him, said, next time you hear that voice, you tell that voice, Lord, here am I." And I never forget, a year after that, I was 8. They had a real strong message that came over the pulpit that Wednesday night. Never forget it. We had Wednesday night, Tuesday morning Bible study, Tuesday morning prayer meeting. And in the month of February, we go to each other's door houses and we go pray and be fast. And they taught us how to fast. People would ask me all the time, "Ain't you hungry?" Man, we were taught as kids. Every October, we fast all day. No water, no breath mints, nothing. All we were doing was praying, fellowshipping. If your kids was eating, you had to bring them a sack lunch, and they had to eat in a designated place inside the fellowship hall or in the parsonage next door. But the saints will be praying the month of October. I think it was, they considered that anniversary, but the month of October, that's what they did at Grand Avenue. And then that Wednesday night, a message came through, and I think it was the person that brought that message, and he wasn't really an expository type of preacher or a foot stumping preacher, but I never forget it. The person that preached, I looked up to him all my life, Roger Neal Burke Sr. Brother Roger preached a message that day, and you know, after we would have the message when I was a kid, they would always sing an altar call song. And I believe the name of the song was "Why Not Tonight." We would sing that all the time when we go to street meetings in Springfield, all in the South End. We'd be all in the South End, Davy Moore Park, Yellow Spring Street. We have a big sign. Those from Springfield know, Church of God, they used to call it the Holy Rollers in the Cult Church. We have a big sign. We have it out in the corner, and all the saints would be out. I'm talking about, I ain't talking about no 2 and 3, 40, 50 of us be outside till the sun went down. It'd be dark, and we'd be outside singing. And Brother Karen Lee or whoever his person that he would assign would have his megaphone like the firemen use, and he would be talking to it, preaching. And as a child, I always would hear, I'm going to get back to the altar call, I would hear and learn because they kept us embedded in the word. So here I am, 8, 9, 10, preteens out witnessing, breaking the Bible down. Child, some of the people would be astonished, but they thought it was so weird based on, you know, the narrative that was been put out on me as a child, that people just thought, you know, oh, well, you know, he'll get over his phase, you know, and everything like that. Watch this. Back to Wednesday, we had the service, they had a prayer meeting, an altar call. I think the song starts out, "Oh, do not let the word depart." And then they were talking about, don't let it harden your heart. Watch this. I get to the altar. And the way the church was set up, they had a pulpit, but the ministers didn't sit in the pulpit. They sit on the wall, along the wall, you know, watching on the wall. The pastor would be sitting there first, and then the rest of the ministers would be lined up all the way down. Then you had the guy on the very end, which would either be Brian King or Larry Burke, and they would be operating the sound system because they had a sound system. They make tapes every day, and they sell the tapes for either $2 or $1, different things like that. And I went to the altar, and I said, you know, I was telling my mom that I've been hearing these voices, and Brother Kelly, this was crazy. This is what touched me that really I never understood it. To this day, I never could catch this. Brother Kelly had talked to me when I was 7. That was the year prior. When I turned 8, I went to the altar. I got convicted, I felt. I know I was convicted, but I felt like I had a calling on me. I go to the altar, and about 6 ministers. I think Adele Butler was still living. Yes, she was still living because she didn't die until I came out of Job Corps. But Adele Butler was still living. She couldn't stand me, so she didn't come to the altar. But I think it was Dale Forrest, Robert Corlew, Roger Burke, Ronald Cabin. Was Margie there then? Margie might have came down. Margie Salee, I've always adored her. Margie and Joan McIntosh. But Margie Salee was there. She's a Caucasian woman. She was ordained minister. But she came in, maybe it's been about 5 minutes, I don't know. And Jesse Walker, we used to call her Grandma Walker. They all got me working with me at the altar, and they asking me, because a lot of them seemed like they was confused on why is this kid coming to the altar? He's hyper, I don't know what. He come and talk to him, he called the priest. I'm not going to say this minister's name, but this person said, your mind might be playing tricks on you. I'm paraphrasing. Your mind might be playing tricks on you. You might just be depressed because, you don't understand, what it is that, you're hearing. Man, I got so discouraged, man, but I never, gave up in my heart because I knew that I was called as a child. My grandma had already told me. We didn't even get into the church until 77. So this was well in the 80s. Early 80s or maybe late 70s. No, late 70s, maybe 80, because we had just moved we were just getting ready to move. We just moved to Springfield. That was in 1980. My mom moved to Springfield in 80. And we stayed with Grandma Walker until our apartment got ready out there, 320 Indiana Avenue. We stayed in the parsonage in the basement. And we stayed there, and then and this story gonna make sense to you. When these young people come to you and they tell you that they hear stuff, or they feel a certain feeling in their heart, or they feel something tugging at them, don't turn that child away. And this ain't no shade, but I always tell you there's a reason, and there's a reaction, a counter reaction, and there's a reason why people grow up the way they do. I always talk about my grandmother. My grandmother is the only woman ever in life, never disappointed me. Only woman in life that ever, and she wasn't a church woman. My grandmother did not even attend church. Her background was Methodist back home, and Clifton Forge, Virginia, West Virginia, all that. But she never went to church. My aunts and uncles didn't grow up in no church. Not that I know of. I ain't never heard them talk about it. But matter of fact, I don't think any of them went to church until they got old, because except my Uncle Ed and of course my mother, because the rest of them didn't go to church until I think it was in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. They played church, because I don't think any of them was saved, except my Aunt Mary Lou and my grandma. Basically, I don't think the rest of them was saved. I think all of them operated under and my Uncle Richard. I think the rest of them operated under the devil's, network. But I would say to you that damaged me at 8 years old. That damaged me because it showed me that just because you're a child, and instead of sitting down having a conversation, people took on assumptions. And when you make assumptions, you're making an ass out of you, me, and everybody else. So I'm saying that to say this: you got to keep at it. Young people, you got called on your life. I don't care what it is. You might be called to be a counselor or called to be whatever. Older people, you got to quit knocking them, because guess what? As soon as they turn 17, 18, you don't even see them no more. They don't even go to church. I can count 5 young people right now on my hand that grew up in Grand Avenue. 5. I can now, right now, off the top of my head, I ain't going to do it, but I can name 5. I was labeled as a nut as a kid. I was labeled as crazy, dysfunctional. I was labeled as a whole bunch of stuff. And those 5 that I can name right now, 2 of them are dead. 3 of them, one of them done been to prison. One of them's daddy was a perpetrating Christian, and he was a drug dealer all them years and had all the saints thinking he was so holy, and he was an open drug dealer and got murdered. And not only did he get murdered, 2 more men got murdered. You see what I mean? So you young men out there that have grown up in the church or grown up and had some issues with your life and this and that, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. Hold the people that put you in that position accountable. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so rough on church people. Because your first work started at home in your house. But if you go up in a religious church, especially in holiness, you've been blinded and bamboozled to think that whatever denomination or whatever a conglomerate you're a part of, they're the only ones right. And if you don't agree with them, they automatically put you in hell. And then instead of the kids healing, they go out and instead of embracing the church, they embrace the streets. And the streets going to always give you an appeal that's better than what you've been brought up in because they want to do something to you. You see what I'm talking about? So I've always been a disciplinarian. My children will tell you that. My first wife will tell you that. And that's where the conflict come in at. You know, when you deal with certain different cultures and mixed cultures and stuff, you know, typically white people don't whoop their kids. You know, typically white people don't reprimand their children, let them do what the hell they want to do. And then when they get out of control, that's when they call the daddy, the one that's been a deadbeat for all their life. Then when the kids start giving them problems, they call the deadbeat. But then when they get the kids back in order, the deadbeat is gone, and then the kids is back doing right, and the kids act up again, they call the deadbeat. But that's what every woman calls their father, their children. Good, bad, or indifferent. Because toxicity. So I said all that to say, let the children lead. Quit grooming them to do stupid shit. And get into them and help them and groom and mold their intellect. It's bad enough that the education system is jacked up in Ohio. Definitely messed up in Florida. You know what I mean? So if we don't be careful, Black history will be over with in about 2 or 3 years. Because if you notice, these southern states, a lot of them are changing the school system and abolishing Black history. Go to Florida. Go to Florida. What is that, Santos? Santos, is he the governor down there? Santos? Yeah, Santos. And you got Trump down there in the same state. It's a non-garnishable state, but, you know, it's messed up. You know what I mean? Go to Georgia. You know, go on to Georgia. Man, you got some of the roughest prisons. Georgia. Go to Texas. Real rough penal system down in Texas. Go to Carolina. You know, Durham. Where my boy Trick Daddy, not Trick Daddy, but what my boy name out there from Carolina? They sing that song Blue Devils. That boy named Trick. He got shot in his boy shot him in the eye. I forget the young man's name. Good music, but there's some challenges down there in Carolina. There's some challenges down there in Virginia. There's some challenges down there in D.C. You know what I'm talking about? There's some challenges down there in Indianapolis. Just watched on the news every day. Young man went down there doing a rap career and got some money. This is in Carolina. Next thing you know, his own boys took him to a studio that the baby used to record in, and his own boys set him up and killed him. Youngest guy in the group, and the young guy is the one that put the guys on the map. Dead. You know what I mean? So let this be your lucky day that you will get some enlightenment. Drop the entitlement. Entitlement is another word for somebody spoiled. You know, because they connected you, they feel that you owe them something. Let me share something which I learned from Charleston White yesterday. I never believed in it, but I believe it now. We parents, our children don't owe us shit. And for years, I went around, even as of recent, I went around mad at my children because I felt like I needed them to do for me like I did for them when that's what I was supposed to do anyway. Children get grown and they do their own thing. And then, especially we as men, because we're the correctors, we're the providers, we're the disciplinarians, and we do all this stuff. And then we hate the ex-wives for how they mess the kids up, and then we take it out on our children. I've done it. I went on this live, and I ain't even taking them down. I went on this live and cussed every last one of my daughters out, called them everything but a child of God. That was emotion. I felt that. But Charleston White made a statement. He said, the kids didn't ask to be here. We was out with girls' legs up in the air making these babies. And then when they get older, we get sick, we assume that just because they are kids, they're supposed to step up and just take over. That ain't how it works. They got their own damn lives. Celebrities' kids ain't even doing that. So what makes you think, why should I feel entitled to think that because, I hate my first wife so much that I got to take it out on my daughters? Or I got to take it out on her baby father, which I can't stand them. But the fact of the matter is, we have to be mindful as men. We can't be hard 24/7. We got this image and this persona that we have that we got to be hard and we got to have this image with our chest poked out, make ourselves look so strong. You know what that is? This is a sign that we have some internal issues. This is what it was. That's what happened to me. You know what I mean? I hold resentment to this day toward my mother. I hold resentment toward all my aunts pretty much. You know what I mean? Because I felt like they took my grandma out of here. I have resentment for the men in my family, because I feel like they all operate in hypocrisy. You know what I mean? I have no uncles on my mom's side left. I got one person left in the family that's connected to my grandmother, and that's my birth mother. And I haven't talked to her in years. And then I quit talking to my siblings because they're connected to her and they carry the same spirit. You see what I mean? So that's why I tell people, you got to know why men's and these different people that be on social media react the way they do. I come through a lot of trauma, abuse, child abuse, all kind of stuff. And I held that in for years because I didn't have no one to listen. The school system wouldn't listen to me. What they do, they kick you out of school because back then in them days, if your parents came in and told the teacher something, the teacher's going to believe it. They're going to get with the guidance counselor and the principal, and they're going to do everything they can to get you the hell up out the system. And that's what they did. So I just said, you know what? If I can't get the support at home, if I can't get my family to step in and rescue me, then I'm going to turn to the streets. That's just what I did. You hear me? I got expelled, went to another school, in a whole other city, got expelled. I told Mom I ain't going back to school. I ain't like school any damn way. I felt like I was too smart for school. I left there and went to trade school, quote unquote job corps. Got me a trade, got the fuck up out, and came back to Columbus, never turned back. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you set up for failure, it doesn't display or come to fruition until you become an adult. And by that time, people have this image in their mind of you for so long that you begin to accept that as that's who you are. And that's why I tell you, you can't be afraid to reinvent yourself. You can't be afraid to go solo and to digress from foolishness. You know what I mean? The reason why we got all these kids out here killing people is because people forget the book of Proverbs. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction to drive it out. When I was going to school, you got your ass whooped from kindergarten all the way up. Wasn't no preschool. Wasn't no damn pre-K. Wasn't no damn latchkey and all that. You just kept your ass in school. You got wholesome meals. You pledge allegiance to the flag. You act up in school. The teacher write a note. You take the note home. They done already called the house and let the mom and them know. Let me tell you a story one time. I did some shit in school. I skipped detention. I was going to Franklin Middle School. We had a female principal there. I forget her name, Miss Samuels. That was her name, Miss Samuels. She was sexy as hell, too. A little Puerto Rican, Dominican woman. I don't know what the hell she was. But I skipped detention. I had 4 days detention. And had this old white lady, Miss Jenkins. She was the guidance counselor. She would always oversee the detentions, in the school. You after school, you be in ILC during school. Then you have after school suspension. Detention, and you have to sit in this room, do your homework. You couldn't talk. If you get talked to more than 2 times, they kick you out, and then you end up getting suspended or expelled. Or you be in an isolated learning center, which is ILC. You be in there for an unlimited amount of time. All my teachers have always said the boy is outgoing. He's talented. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just what they call it, outspoken, and he's hyperactive. But of course, back then, it wasn't doping you up with medicine and stuff. You know what I mean? So, make a long story short, uh, I just held all that resentment, and I just made up in my mind I could have went to college. I could have went out and got a GED. I'm not dumb. I don't like school. I like to read. I like to self-study. I like to sit up under people to teach me. The school system, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm not knocking it. It didn't work for me. Obviously, it didn't. I'm almost 60 years old. I got an 8th grade education. You'd never know it. You see what I mean? But I've come through a process of experience that has brought me to this appointed place at this appointed time. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying to you is, you know, quit doping these kids up with all this damn pills and sit and talk to your children. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna co-parent, you know, you got to co-parent in a positive way. And that was another issue I had. There's a certain way I wanted my children to be. Well, you when you marry outside your race, you deal with people that don't have that discipline structure. See, I got my ass tore up when I was a kid. And there's not a cousin that I have on the prior side. I don't know about the family brothers because that's not blood to me. But the priors, I know for sure all of them got their ass whooped. And none of my aunts whooped your ass with clothes on. They all took your damn clothes off. You either got a racetrack strap, remember the Hot Wheel racetrack strap, the orange one? Sometimes you wait till you get out that damn tub, tear your ass up with a wet ass, hit you with that racetrack strap, big ass leather belt. I would get whooped with paddles. Matter of fact, I was so hyper and outspoken in school. My principal gave my stepdad and my mom a paddle, and I used to get my ass whooped every day before I went to school, up until I left school. So I've been dealing with abuse all my life. But like I always tell people, I ain't never had no street beef, except once, and that was a buddy of mine was we was really into some heavy shit, and people had killed him and his girl down in Indiana, and they came looking for me. I never forget. I called my mom screaming. I mean, bullets. I'm telling you, I done been through it. You know, I done been in shootouts. I done been shot at. I done been robbed. I done been all that. But I ain't never had no beef since the age of 23, 24 with no street niggas. Ever in my life. And that's why I don't worry about it. You know where my beef come from? Church people, fraternal people, politicians, family members. No street. Never had no gang banging issues. And I used to run with, like I told you, I ran with the GDs. When I was in Job Corps, when I was in when I used to go back and forth and see my boy Kendall, we got rest his soul. And he got killed because of a woman. A woman set him up, was stealing some shit. And any major beef you see in the street, it always revolves a woman. Think about it. Any backdooring, any of that, there's always a woman that initiates it, sets it up to get you backdoor. Ain't a dope dealer to get robbed and set up because of the competition. It's always because of some pussy or a woman. I was telling my boy the other day, we blame the women for a lot of stuff, but it's our fault. D, you don't know what you talk. Can I help you real quick? Adam was in the garden. God gave him specific instruction. He told him, he said, listen, I'm going to give you dominion over the earth. You're going to name the fowls of the air, every creeping, crawling thing. You're going to name the fruit, the vegetables, the lion, the tiger, the bears. Oh, my. He's going to name all that. And then God told him one day, Adam was walking around. They said he was schizophrenic. I don't think he was. So he was walking around in the cool of the garden. And God spoke to him and told him, he said, it ain't good for man to be alone. Right? Next thing I know, the Holy Ghost took a mallet and hit Adam in the back. I'm paraphrasing and making it so even I got some young viewers that watch so you can understand it, break it down so even a child can understand it. Somebody knocked him in the back of the head with a mallet. Adam goes into a deep sleep. Adam going to a sleep, man. Adam woke, man, while he sleep, God operating. Took a rib, used it as a spoon, and dug in the ground, stirred it around, spit on it, put a little mud on it, took his little fingers, had his angels with the backup. You know how you go to surgery and they got the people surrounding you, got the surgeon, all that, and you got God working. You can't see God because he's a spirit, right? Okay, so he got his angels working for him, and they molding this thing. Boom, 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 boom. Pow! Next thing you know, you got a woman. Man named them. Man named the woman, named all the animals, everything. The devil couldn't talk to the devil couldn't talk to the man because the man was under assignment and was under divine appointment. So what happened? Oh, Adam chilling, man. Adam over there eating him some pears, apples, and grapes, got his toes wiggling freely. And next thing you know, the woman just disappeared all of a sudden. Work with me. The woman disappeared, man. She going on, and you know, she naked. They don't even know they naked. I'm sure she was perky, looking nice. You know, they didn't have razors and stuff. She's probably bushed out and everything. Didn't have no pedicure, but it was pleasing to Adam. Adam goes, doing his thing. Eve go over. She hear a voice. A subtle voice. A serpent. See what I mean? So, the reason why the serpent was so able to deceive the woman, because he didn't come to her as the devil. He didn't come to her as the devil. He came to her in the form of something else. So she was probably mesmerized. What is this talking to me? I don't know what this is. Because what? She don't have no understanding. Right? Snake come to her. You know, I was just saying, you're a pretty girl. You know what I mean? Don't this fruit look nice? And she probably looking like, yeah, it do look nice. And then the snake come in talking about, hey, you know, if you eat that fruit, you're going to be smart. He don't want you to know if you eat that fruit, you're going to be smart. See, that's how he worked. Manipulation, playing games, mind games. The Bible said he came subtle, right? So he talked to Eve. And the Bible didn't say it took him 10 years. The Bible just said that he talked to the woman, and the woman grabbed the fruit. Somebody said, why did the woman grab the fruit? And she already knew what Adam, because the God didn't tell Eve that. He told the man. And the reason why the serpent was able to get to the woman, because the woman is what? The weaker vessel. So once she bites it, she realized she got titties. Her eyes opened up. It tastes good to her. It was appealing. The fruit was juicy, nice, ripe all the way around. She runs back, tells her husband the good news. Not congratulations, I'm having a baby. Not congratulations, I'm doing it. But I taste this fruit. It's not as bad as what they say it is. Look at what I got here. And Adam, because he didn't want to be alone, he yields to the woman. He bites the fruit. As soon as he bites the fruit, they chilling like everything is everything. Next thing you know, a voice come through the garden, loud as hell. Adam! He didn't say Eve. And this is not a knock to the women. I'm giving you some game here. I told you this morning, pitch up on some game all day. Eve goes, give them the fruit, he eat the fruit. Now they both know they naked. They go and hide and get a piece of a fig leaf from a fig tree, cover themselves up, and go hide in the bushes. The good man upstairs could have killed him. He could have struck him down, but it was a divine plan. He needed Adam and he needed Eve. He didn't need him, but in order for us to be fruitful and multiply, Father Adam, Mother Eve had to be fruitful and multiply. Watch this. I'm getting somewhere. They eat the fruit. Their eyes open up. God gave them a lecture. Ran down on them, talking about, what do you... No. I talk to you. Now I done gave you dominion over the whole world. I done let you name all the animals, the worms, the bugs, the roaches, the bed bugs, the bananas, the papayas, everything. Man named it. Listen to the woman. You listen to that woman. God said, you know what? I'm paraphrasing. God said, you know what? I ain't paying you no attention. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I got something good for you. You know what? I need you to go ahead and he didn't give him a 3-day notice. He didn't even take him to court. He said, I need you to get out. And to keep you out, I'm going to put some of my guards at both ends of the garden so you can't get out. Angels, flaming swords, blocking everything out. So you in paradise, you got it made. You made in his image, but you're doing your own thing. Listen to what? The weaker vessel. Remember I told you we've been dropping the ball? The ball was dropped back then. That was our first example. When you step out the wheel and listen to somebody that... So that is a pure sign and example that when you have a direct voice from the man upstairs, I appreciate that, my brother. I appreciate that. And then you listen to somebody who doesn't have that connection, there's consequence. So then after Adam fell, they got cursed. Man was told his curse was he had to work the rest of his life by the sweat of his brow. That was his curse. The woman's curse, you're going to bleed and you're going to have pain in childbirth. You're going to travail in childbirth. That was her curse. Her curse wasn't to, oh, F the man, I'm going to go out and get me a job and be independent. I'm going to go like Destiny's Child. I'm a survivor. No, you cursed too. But man got the worst curse because what? He was identified and established as the head. Come on, modern day women, modern day men, they don't believe in that no more. You got women wanting to be men now. Why? Because the men don't want to leave. They want to fuss, argue, complain, beat the hell out the women, do all this stuff, you know, instead of just leading, they want to follow. So then he has sons. And that same demon jumped in his offspring. Remember, I told you generational curses. Cain killed Abel. His blood cried out. Guess what? All these wars and stuff we have in the day, Israel, all these different places, all that stuff is biblical. Go all the way back to Bible days. And the same thing I've been telling you about the gang violence. It's cultural. They're not doing it because you offended them. They're doing what you did to their generation. So then you got the Iranians, you got the Africans, you got the Chinese, Korean, Japanese, all these different cultures of people, nations of people, Middle East, all over. A lot of this beef is all traced back to the Bible. Or if you're Muslim, to the Quran, if you're Jewish, the Torah, whatever you are. It all traces back. And it's a generational curse. And no one wants to stop it. Why? Because war makes money. Now, in street beef, you don't make no money. You lose money in wars, shootouts, traps getting knocked in and niggas backdooring you. You know, you ain't gonna make no money. You're losing money because you're losing lives, you're losing soldiers. I told you about Joseph. His brothers sold him into slavery. The same brothers that sold him into slavery, guess what? But guess what? Why did it happen? Look at Jacob. Jacob got the birthright by default because his mama was deceptive. John the Baptist's mama. John the Baptist's mama was sitting there chilling, sipping on a milkshake, sitting there talking to her sister Mary. Next thing you know, she talking about she ain't gonna have this and ain't gonna do that. Boom, something jump up in her stomach. A baby, John the Baptist come. All signs and wonders. We don't even listen to it. We don't even blame him. Joseph got traded by his brothers. I walked in that path. My whole family turned on me. Blood. They killed me spiritually and mentally, dipped my coat in the blood, passed the coat out, told everybody I was dead, crazy, didn't have nothing, was faking, didn't have it together. Guess what? The same people that turned on me 2, 3, 4 years ago, blood family. I ain't talking about my children. I'm talking about family, cousins, aunts, uncles. All those people, those same people, blow my emails up, that's why I don't even use the phone. No one has my number. I got 2 people know my number in this whole world. Why? Because see, you start revisiting toxicity and craziness, and that demon jump back on you. Remember they told you in the good book, you church folk, the good book tell you that when you go out and leave, you take on 7 more demons. So every time you leave and have a fall, and you don't try to reinvent and you have pity parties and you water on your bullshit, guess what? You're taking on 7 more demonic forces in your mind, and you ain't gonna be able to function. You ain't gonna be able to make it. You know why you ain't gonna be able to make it? Because you are full of the devil. We're keeping it real. We ain't gotta believe it. You know what I mean? I remember when I was a kid, we had vacation Bible school. Real vacation Bible school. Had a woman there, Maxine Carter. We used to call her Granny. Everybody in the South End, Columbus, Springfield, remember Church of God? In the 80s, we had vacation Bible school. Good Bible school. I'm talking about, you think it was a concert. And they all taught us the song, Tell Me a Story. And that old lady get up there and read stories, man. I ain't talking about out no book, real life stories. Sometimes she might use a book. And then she'll read, I'm talking about kids from all over the South End, Indiana Superior. Then you go on the other side of Springfield. You know, let me stay on South End real quick. Clay Street. Then you go around. You got Tibbet. You got Grand. You got damn Limestone. Then you go over to Yellow Spring Street. You got Euclid. You got damn all these people on the South End, East Side, West Side. Then you got people coming all the way from Northbridge, coming all the way to Grand Avenue. Because what? They was getting teaching. We was doing crafts that you see in the Amish store. It was teaching us how to make those. They was teaching us how to do different things. Matter of fact, what I really missed about it, I'm going to be honest with you, that they don't do in churches no more. I know they don't do it. But the church I grew up in, and the reason why I know how to do so much, then I don't know how to do everything, but the men taught the young men how to work. We had Men's Day twice a year. We didn't go out and hire contractors and have people come in, except when they remodeled the inside and put the balcony and stuff on the inside of the sanctuary and turned it lavender. But we didn't have that. The men that were there, Brother Webb, Brother Kennerly, Mike Kennerly, Wilbur McKeithen, Dale Forbes, Eddie Keith Beard, who else? Young men used to come in and help. And then they teach us young men, we know I can do roofing. I can lay concrete. I can do driveway. I can do all that. They taught us that. You had to have 10 grand in the bank, 5 to 10 grand before you got married. You thought you was going to marry somebody in that church, you better have some money. You better prove you can take care of that woman. And if you didn't, you wasn't getting married at 709, period. You better go down to Kirkland Courts. Because Carl Vernon Kennerly wasn't putting, I can't speak what Ron Cabin did. I don't know what he did when he was the pastor. I know Carl Vernon Kennerly wasn't putting his hands and sanctioning no marriage if a man couldn't take care of his wife. Hear me what I'm saying? And then if you acted up, oh, it wasn't no backstabbing, he say, she say. They call your name out, call you in the front of the church, and everything you did, you had to confess it. Whether you meant it or not, you was forced to confess. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. Every time I got in trouble in school, I had to get up in front of the church and apologize and let the people know, hey, this is what happened. And it might not even been true. But we were held accountable. Immediate. Men's and women's, boys and girls. You do something you ain't got no business. But Karen didn't have no problem sitting you down. Adele Butler didn't either. She was weird, but Adele Butler didn't either. That's what we need back in the churches, the church house. Accountability. We need that in society. You know, I only knew of one case where there was some alleged sexual misconduct in that church. You know, you wouldn't have people walking around and you couldn't listen to the sermon because you're looking at somebody's titties and they ain't got no bra on and their nipples is hard and they're up there trying to sing a song or they trying to work the altar and then you looking all inappropriate. No, you were so covered up. They had their, and I don't agree with all of it, but they had the dresses were so long. And then if you was white and you was a part of the church, you know, the sanctified white churches, they always have their hair up in a ball with the little thing up in the top. You go to any white Pentecostal church, all them white ladies got their hair up in the ball. Their hair ain't never cut. And soon they take their hair down. Their hair is like Rapunzel down to their damn feet. I'm just keeping it real with you. Margie Salee, I saw her twice with her hair down. And that girl's hair was so damn long. Nancy Bethel, Joan McIntosh, Linda Schakowsky. All them white ladies that was at that church, man, they had long, beautiful hair. Only thing I like about Linda Schakowsky, she smelled like garlic. Calvin, that's the name. Somebody from Church of God inboxed me and asked me what was I talking about 9 months ago. I was talking about Leslie Burton's husband. I think it's Leslie was married to Calvin. Because Calvin was supposed to have married Linda Schakowsky, but her mom was racist. And I bumped into Linda a couple times when she was teaching at Mound Street Elementary School. I used to go in there when I was pastoring and pass out information and do different things out there at that church, at that school. Linda Schakowsky was a teacher there. And somebody told me she died. I didn't know that. I didn't even know Margie Salee. Somebody told me Margie Salee died, and I loved Margie. And but on the funny note, what I never understood is how women can go all them years and never get married. Margie was a pretty woman. I never understood why she didn't get married. But I understand now, ain't nobody out there too married. I'm just being honest about it. A lot of us men out there, we got some problems. We got some deep-rooted issues that are unresolved, and we bleed on folk that don't really need to be bled on. So that's why I told you I had to do re-inventory. Go back to the Masonic Order, King Solomon's Temple. You're rebuilding yourself daily. You're spiritual, you're inside, you're outside. You got to do it, you're inward man. Because what's in you going to come out. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised, all these people, these major celebrities that's coming out now getting busted with all this crazy stuff going on. You would have never thought that back in the 70s and 80s. Then when they get older, the stuff that's been built inside of them start to come out. Next thing you know, you find out they've been raping kids all along. They've been doing this stuff all along. We just didn't know about it because we didn't want to believe it. And then you wonder why you got people like Diddy that's in jail, and then you got people that's mad that he's in jail because it wasn't their kids that was affected. You see what I'm talking about? You get a little bit for everybody, a little hit and miss here, hit and miss there, give you some information. I always tell you, if I ain't got nothing to say, I ain't gonna come on live. If I got something to say, I'm gonna talk till I'm done. You know, and I just think that it's time for us to get together. Whether you're in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Michigan, the big case in Michigan just went down with some people getting murdered down there. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on in society, and we pick and choose what we want to see and listen to, which we have that constitutional right. But why push the negative, and then when some stuff jump off, we do it for a story. We do it for a like. We do it for clickbait. We go out and deceive people just to be deceiving. We do that, and then we criticize why the nation is the way it is. Because what? We turn our heads, we zip our lips, because it ain't none of our business. I heard Charleston White say yesterday, he said, if you ain't in the street, tell it ain't nothing wrong with it. Ain't nobody got no business coming trying to take you out because you done told something they know they ain't had no business doing it anyway. Right? So if you ain't on the street and you still on the sidewalk, then why people get mad when you come on live like myself, because I'm not a criminal, and you get on and expose people? Why people get mad talking about, I want to see you, I want to touch you, I want to put my hands on you? My kids used to laugh at me when I was a kid. I used to tell people, I used to have people used to say little crazy shit to me. I used to tell them, so what I'm supposed to be doing while you whooping my ass? Just standing there letting you whoop my ass? I mean, what I'm supposed to be doing while you throwing me in the trunk? You kidnapping me and you beating me and you shooting at me and all that. Am I supposed to just be standing there? I'm a man. You know what I mean? I just told you I don't have street beef. That's why I say the stuff I say. I don't worry about street people knocking on my door, airing me out, shooting me, killing me, anything like that. I worry about people that's got blood and DNA running through their veins. I worry about the people that wear the collars, the chains, and the cords, and the gloves and the aprons. You know, I worry about some of the people that do all this crazy stuff. Them the ones that do it, right? I don't have street beef. And I don't run from trouble. I face it head on. Yeah, that's how I operate. You know what I mean? Somebody called me yesterday on the email. I was telling my boy D this morning. I said, you know what's so funny? I'm doing the same thing that these national civil rights activists doing. But I'm doing it for free. And I'm not doing it to pacify. I don't retract statement. I don't need to go out and do a press conference and get in front of the media to, make you feel good and make you think that I'm really supporting you when I'm really not. And then when all the smoke clear, that celebrity civil rights activist is gone. And the reason why the celebrity activists come in and do the work is because the Tomlins that we got in our communities, they ain't doing shit. Right? But the ones that are the celebrities, Ben Crump, Martin Luther, all these guys, all these different people that's doing all this different stuff, we move with all that. Somebody told me today, as a matter of fact, said, Bro said, why you always talking about black people? I said, same reason y'all talk about. But the only thing about it, y'all lied. I deal with facts. You know what I mean? See, when you're a servant of the people, you got to operate and do what the needs of the people are. I get people all the time calling me, man, you ought to be monetized, man. I'm used to seeing you do a certain way and live a certain kind of way. Listen, man, I'm not going to compromise my stance on this channel over a few rusty nickels that I might not get to live to enjoy in the first place. So why spend 10 years putting information out and then compromise my position and belittle my own people with lies and hearsay? Because people don't subscribe to channels for people to just get up and just tell lies and mislead and bash people. At some point, people wake up like, something about what this guy is talking about is right. You might not all agree with it, but there's truth all through it. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that you subscribers, I'm trying to get 300 by April 1st. Every month, I try to do something different, take us to the next level. I just told you last night, you don't know how many people, my family will be honest with you. I've had so many people offer me so much money to throw another man under the bus just to say I'm successful. What does it profit a man to gain the world? You know what I mean? I can make all the music in the world. I can make all the antics in the world. I can do comedy, I can do whatever. But guess what? If I do that at the expense of my fellow man, my fellow brother, my fellow sister, red, yellow, black, and white, don't make no difference, but namely my people of color, then what's that make me look like? You know what I mean? I do this so when I do close my eyes, I don't have people standing over my casket if I choose to have a burial and not be cremated. I don't have to worry about people getting up telling lies about this is what this man did. You know what I mean? My Uncle Hopper used to say, I don't want niggas coming around me crying over my casket. That's been pissing on me, trying to make me think it's rain all these years. And then when I die, they didn't give a damn about me when I was breathing. And then as soon as you die, they got to tell all these lies. Man, we was close, man. We used to do all this. You know what I mean? I'm building a resume and I'm laying bricks. And I'm preparing a pathway as a forerunner and trailblazer for this upcoming generation because they are lost. And I'm going to be the first one to say that I'm halfway responsible. I'll take a small percentage of that issue because we have men that have dropped the ball, and now these young men is looking to the streets when they should be looking to some of these preachers and some of these Masonic men that's talking about they doing all this community work, and there's still crime ridden in the state that I live in and the other states that others live in. And I'm not understanding how we allow that stuff to go on. We don't do nothing. Hey, I gave you what I could today. I'm just trying to pick up on some game and some realness here. You know what I mean? I woke up this morning, got a new subscriber. Thank you, whoever that is. Some people have been subscribing private, which I ain't got a problem with. As long as you get that information, it lets me know down in my mind, well, I got some more people that's not going to be excusable. They're going to be accountable now. Because once you see it and you hear it, you ain't got no excuse. You can agree with it, you can't agree with it. I tell you all the time, do your own research. Anything I talk about, go on the internet, go talk to your friend, talk to the people I'm talking about, and then you go and ask them and verify the information. You know what I mean? And that's what has caused this channel to do what it's doing. It's been slow for the poll, right? But I don't come on live unless I got something to say. Hear me? So when I'm giving you this information, what you do with it is up to you. You know what I mean? But don't get caught up in the hype. Ain't that what Flavor Flav said? Don't believe the hype. Happy belated birthday to Flavor Flav. And he said that, don't believe the hype. Chuck D, where you at? I need you, brother. You know, I need you. We need you back on the forefront. I don't know where you at. I ain't heard your voice in a while. I need to hear you. Because I got a letter from the government the other day, and I opened and read, and they said it was suckers. Picture me giving a damn or whatever. Come on, public enemy. What? Come on, Hour of Chaos. Come on, Hands of Steel. Dun, 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 dun. Come on now, talk to me. You know what I mean? Chuck D wasn't talking about killing your mama and calling your mama all kind of names and stuff like that. You know, Chuck D was out there putting that information out there, man, hitting them, hitting them with that information, intimidated. So what they do, and I'm not knocking Flavor Flav, but Flavor Flav, he was an entertainer, but he was an antic. He was a distraction. See what I'm talking about? So, like Rodney King said, can we all just get along? Can we all just get along? I'm just asking. You know, y'all quit hating on Charleston White. At least you got a man out there that don't give a damn, and he ain't scared to say what he gonna say. He ain't scared to say what he gonna say. But you got a lot of these other guys out here that's black and brown and terrified. I ain't scared of nobody but God and Benny Charles. My dad every bit of 5'9", 5'10". But I know that man put a piece of steel in me. You gotta hear what I'm saying. So I don't worry about it. I just do what I'm supposed to do to pursue and recover all. And I ain't gonna do it with bail. You know, I'm gonna leave with this. There was a group in Springfield, Ohio, years ago called the Burton Singers. I want to give a shout out to them. Jill, Melanie, Brother Burton, Sister Burton, Burton girls, the adopted Burton kid, David, all of them. I want to, everybody, I want to say, because they used to sing a song, there is no failure in God. I think Sister Willis used to sing that song too down in Jackson, and she did a version of that. But I'm just telling you, there's things in life we ain't gonna understand. There's things in life we ain't gonna be able to mend and sew up like, you know, needle and thread. Some things you just gotta suck it up, buttercup, keep it moving. You know what I mean? You're gonna get hurt, you're gonna get some wounds, you make some mistakes, you're gonna say some shit, but I'd rather you get it off your chest and say what you gotta say. And that way you don't have all that resentment stuff building in, because you let that stuff and you suppress stuff in your heart and you suppress stuff in your mind, that stuff gonna come out. You witnessed it right here on my channel. For 2 years straight, I was going ham on everybody. Church folk, everybody, calling their names out, calling their daughters all kind of whores, sluts, everything. Because all that resentment had built in, because all the people that taught me to do right, they was doing wrong. I was exposing them, and then they tried to throw me under the bus for exposing them. Because I always lived a life, I'm going to do what I want to do and how I want to do it. But I'm not going to ever cross nobody. It's not beneficial to me. It's not advantageous for the community, and it's not beneficial for my offspring. Because you reap what you sow. And you might skate by, but you still got kids here. You got siblings here, just like the streets. You fuck somebody over, they might not get to you, but they're going to touch somebody close to you. That's why I be telling people all the time. I gave you 2 songs last week. What Goes Up Must Come Down, Maze, and I gave you another song by Layla Hathaway. What goes around, comes around. You don't believe that? Can you help me get to 300? Then 5, I like that. Hey, 5, that's the 3rd time today I done seen 5. Eastern Star, them 5 points. Walk in them. That's his confirmation. That 5, 3 times. The good book saying, in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word to be established. 5, I done saw that number 3 times today. Less than 10 hours, I done saw that number. 5 plus 5 is 10. 5, 5, and 5 is 15. 1 and 5. I ain't gonna get into all that. I'm real deep in numerology and all that, and astrology and all that kind of stuff, you know. But I just want to tell you that I appreciate the time you gave me today. I gave you almost an hour and 15, and I'm still on the scene. And I'm gonna remain clean. I want my hands to be clean. I want my heart to stay clean and pure. Don't get caught up again in the antics. Just go with my heart, and then make you a good start, and then you can do it. You know, if you try, you can make it. If you try, you know what I mean? Be the little caboose that could, the little engine that could. You know, they got that hill, got a little rough. Start putting that coal up in that motherfucker, that flame, start going, that thing, pow, gone. You know what I mean? So if you ain't got nobody to pat you on the back, I'm doing it right now virtually. You know what I mean? If you don't got nobody that can speak up for you, hit me up, theuprightstone@gmail, and I'll get you together real quick. I help you out. You got an issue you want me to talk about? You know, you need some knowledge on some few things. If I got the information, I'll give it to you. If I don't got it, I'm going to go research it and give it, because the good book says you're supposed to be prepared to give a man an answer. And that's what's wrong. We're not giving people answers. We're giving them a whole bunch of problems, but we ain't got no solutions. And I tell the church folk, we're going and doing this fasting and praying. You already know what the problem is. What you fasting for? Why are you tempting God? You already know what the problem is. You got to remove from your house the accursed thing. Get all the bullshit out your household, out your churches, out of these conglomerates, and then the world will be a better place. Because everybody right now blaming the church and they blaming the government. They blaming the church and they blaming the government. Shout out to Copstone Opry Lodge 108 out of New Jersey. I want to give a shout out. Got brothers, remember that lodge out there in Jersey, and been talking to them for quite some time. And I want to tell you, I want to acknowledge you today too. I think that's it for today. I'll give you the hour and 15. It's almost hour and 16, and I appreciate those that have commented. Thank you for the reaction. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and those that subscribe. And again, when I get permission from my daughter, I'll give you that information about that site. I want you to help my grandson get to that 50. I think he should be at 30 now. I help him get a little 10 on 10 hook up, and we're gonna get him to 50. And by the time I see his face again, he's gonna be ready. He's gonna be like, Papa, I can do the line. I can do the line now. You know, you got a little high pitched voice like Buddy used to have. Buddy used to have a high pitched voice too when he was a kid. That little dookie, that little motherfucker. That boy got a voice so goddamn high. I hope he ended up being a singer. I don't know if any of my grandkids sing. You know, I don't know if they sing or not. I know one of them like to rap. One of them like to cuss too. But, you know, it is what it is. They hear their grandpa cussing all the time. I've always had a filthy mouth. You know, people just never saw that side of me because I'm all about image. I'm definitely about image. My soon-to-be ex-wife, she knew it. My last wife knew it. All about image. When I'm in public, I look a certain way. You know what I mean? When I'm in presence of people, I look a certain way. When I'm at home, I do me. I can put my hair down and do what I want to do. But when you're out in the public eye and you're a public person, then you got to do what you got to do to maintain your integrity. I'm just trying to help you. Is that okay? Hey, take care of yourself and each other is my prayer. Hey, sisters, keep your head up. I love you today. I wanted to give you that shout out today to you sisters. And then I'm going to give a shout out again to you brothers. Let the blue be true. Be faithful over a few things, and God will make you rule over many. I just want to give a shout out to my sisters in the Order of the Eastern Star. I want to give a shout out to my brothers of the Fraternal Order. And I want to also give a shout out to everyone that's doing the best that they can to survive, to stay alive. You know what I mean? And again, all those shout outs I gave this morning, I want to give them to you again. I want to let you feel these residuals of love that I'm showing you today. Just shout out to Sandusky, a good friend of mine passed away over there. I heard, not a friend, but an old acquaintance of mine that passed away up in the Sandusky area. He's from Sandusky, and I gave a shout out last night to them. And I wanted to say, man, keep your head up, man. I hope this information helped you today. I don't know why the last 3 or 4 days, the good Lord has given me enough oxygen to keep it going. I usually go about 20, 30 minutes. I usually don't do my full lives like this until the weekend. But for some reason, you know, they've been talking to me about a few things. I've been watching. I'm always on the internet, you know, trying to stay current on what's going on in the world. Because when I come on, I may do ad lib to someone else's commentary, may forget their name. But if I forget, usually the next day I give a shout out to those platforms. That, again, Denise D, y'all need to check her out. If you go under those that are just now coming on this channel, if you go under facts, you'll see all the current affairs and political corruption, all the street beefs, all the major content creators that are out putting information out. If it touches me, I'll share it on under the post. But the actual videos and footage that will be under facts. All my lives, all my shorts, Facts. If you go under Good God Almighty, that's all R&B, old school R&B. Got some alternative music in there. And then if you go to a little bit of heaven, that's strictly gospel from the 60s all the way up until 2026. If you go under posts, of course, that's the stuff that I share in posts. If you go under the shorts, of course, you're going to get all that information. And you can click on popular, old, latest, and it'll show you the posters when we first started. And you can see the difference. I've always put my heart into my work, but you can tell the progression on how this page is doing what it's doing. And I'm grateful for it. And hey, that's my ride. Got to go. Take care of yourself. Love you.